Good evening, and welcome to the July 8th, 2026 meeting of the City of Lake Forest Plan Commission. I am Mark Pasquesi, Chairman of the Commission. At this time, I would actually like to welcome our newest member to the Plan Commission, Mr. Stuart Dixon. Thank you, Stuart, for being a part of this commission. And on behalf of the entire commission, I'd like to welcome you. We look forward to working with you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
At this time, I would like to ask members of the commission to introduce themselves, starting at my far left.
Paul Thomas.
Lisa Nearing.
Louis Pickus.
Mark Pasquesi.
David Hunt.
Stuart Dixon.
All right. At this time, we will do consideration of the minutes of the May 13th, 2026 Plan Commission meeting. Do we have any questions, comments on?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
please go ahead.
just had a question. It said commissioners absent was David Hunt and then on position vacant. But if you look page 4 or 5, it says questions from Commissioner Hunt. So I wasn't sure if it was the position person that was absent and not David Hunt. You know what I mean?
Great observation. I don't know the answer to that.
I was not here.
Okay, he was not here. So someone else asked the question. We will.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, with that amendment or edit made to the minutes, do we have any other questions or comments on the minutes of the meeting? All right, hearing none, I'd like to hear a motion on that.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
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 The meeting minutes from May 13th, 2026 have been approved. All right. Next item on the agenda is a request for recommendation in support of a central business district plan development for a single building with 3 condominium units and underground parking. A special use permit is requested to allow a floor area ratio of up to 1.5 as provided for in the code. The property is located in the southeast corner of Westminster and Oakwood Avenue. The property owner is Westwood LF Development LLC, and it'll be presented by Diana Melikar, architect. Before we begin, I'd like to ask for a declaration of conflicts of interest and ex parte contacts by the board. Hearing none. Anybody intending to testify on this behalf, I'd ask to stand up so we can swear you in. Stand up and raise your right hand. Okay, everybody who intends to testify on this petition. Okay. Do you solemnly declare and affirm the testimony you're about to give or have previously given is true and correct to your best knowledge? Yeah. Okay. All of it. Go ahead. Please introduce yourself and proceed.
Yes, I'm Diana Melikar, here in Lake Forest. Turn this. Yeah, okay. So good evening, and thank you for hearing our petition tonight. This is an image of the existing residential structure at 181 Westminster that was completely converted to commercial use around 1950. This existing building is out of scale with the commercial zone in which it's located. Prior to discussing our special use permit request, I'd like to provide some background information regarding the project. This is an image of the Lake Forest interactive zoning map focused in on the central business district area. At the center of the image is the B4 Preservation Business Zone that encompasses Market Square and other historic buildings. Surrounding that is the B3 Commercial Zone. It is comprised of large, newer structures that ring the B4 Preservation Zone. You can see that in orange. The subject property at 181 East Westminster, shown as a white rectangle, is located on the very edge of this large B3 commercial zone. To the left of the subject property is the GR3 residential zone. There you can see it kind of in that light brown color. This residential zone allows for an urban type density of 2 family residences on small in-town lots. This is a figure ground map of the surrounding area with the subject property indicated in yellow and the red rectangle representing the existing commercial building located on it. In this image, it's important to notice the extraordinarily large building footprints, hatched in green, that surround our property in the B3 and B4 commercial zones. Below our property is the large City of Lake Forest parking lot adjacent to City Hall. And to the left are the tightly knit GR3 residences that, even though the buildings are smaller in scale, are also quite dense. This is the plat of survey of the subject property. To orient you, East Westminster is on the top of the image and Oakwood Avenue is on the left. The property lines are indicated in red. The existing property is comprised of 4 very narrow and deep lots with a total land area of 0.27 acre. Note the undersized one-story commercial building set in the middle left of the site at only 1,392 square feet, along with 10 surface vehicular parking spaces at the bottom of the image. These parking spaces are accessed through the City of Lake Forest's parking lot. According to the zoning requirements for this particular property, we are currently allowed to build up to 8,822 square feet of commercial building on the lot, or 0.75 FAR. As part of this code, we can request a special use permit to build up to 14,704 square feet, or 1.25 FAR, when 5 criteria are met. As shown in the previous image, the existing building at 1,392 square feet is just 0.11 FAR. The existing building is woefully undersized for its lot compared to the allowable zoning restrictions. The property, in its current configuration, is not in keeping with the B3 commercial zone in which it is located. Per the City of Lake Forest Code Section 159.114, there are 5 criteria for the special use permit increased FAR. They include the following. At least 50% of the floor area is residential use. At least 50% of parking must be located underground. A minimum of 25% of the property is retained as open space. The front yard setback is increased from 0 to 5 feet, and the proposed design receives Building Review Board approval. Now I will walk you through each criterion for the special use permit and explain how we intend to meet or exceed all 5 criteria. Criterion number 1 states that at least 50% of the floor area shall be committed to residential use. These are images of our building floor plans. 100% of the floor area shall be committed to residential use. The proposed building is 2 stories high and contains 3 condominium units. 2 units are stacked on the north building side, and 1 unit is 2 stories on the south side. Criterion number 2 states that at least 50% of the required parking spaces are located underground. This is an image of the underground parking garage. 7 on-site parking spaces are required for the residential units. Of those 7 spaces, 4 of them must be located underground to meet the special use permit requirement. We are providing 11 parking spaces in total, and 100% of them are located underground. The proposed underground parking improves the existing site condition considerably, as we are removing all 10 on-grade parking spaces. Criterion number 3 states that at least 25% of the site is retained as open space. This is a conceptual aerial plan rendering of the site. 30% open space is provided. Criterion number 4 states that setback of 5 feet is provided along the streetscape side of the building. This is our proposed site plan with the property line indicated in red. 5-foot building setbacks, as highlighted in yellow, are provided on 2 streets, both Oakwood Avenue and East Westminster. Criterion number 5 states that the proposed building and landscape concepts must receive conceptual approval by the Building Review Board. This petition is currently proposed for Building Review Board review on September 2nd of this year. We intend on meeting the Building Review Board standards for the replacement structure and landscape design. Following, I will show you our preliminary conceptual design renderings. Although technically not the purview of the Plan Commission, it's important to understand the building design in relation to our FAR request. Please note that the following building and landscape designs are continuing to be refined, so the concept renderings you are about to see may change slightly prior to our building review board submittal. This rendering illustrates the proposed Oakwood Avenue building facade. The design serves as a deliberate transition between the larger, more monolithic buildings within the B3 commercial zone and the smaller scale homes in the GR3 residential zone. The proposed building avoids the block-like massing characteristic of the commercial district by incorporating a two-story scale and sloped roof forms adjacent to the residential neighborhood. This building massing provides an appropriate transition in scale and character. The prominent central brick feature and columned portico further reinforces the residential character of Oakwood Avenue, providing a familiar architectural element that helps bridge the scale and context of the surrounding neighborhood. This is a rendering of the East Westminster facade looking southeast with the Oakwood facade and streetscape on the right. The proposed condominium building provides better street continuity in the B3 commercial zone along East Westminster than the existing building currently does. As noted previously, the proposed building's architectural style, material, and details transition to the GR3 residential zone on Oakwood Avenue. This is a rendering of the south side of the building. A private landscape courtyard is provided for the residential units, and landscape screening will separate the property from the City of Lake Forest parking lot to the south. All vehicular parking is located underground. In conclusion, we have demonstrated that criteria 1 through 4 for an increased FAR from 0.75 to 1.25 have been met for the Plan Commission. We look forward to addressing criterion number 5 at the Building Review Board meeting on September 2nd. Westwood LF Development LLC and Mellicar Architects have approached this project with a deep commitment to enhancing the character and quality of Lake Forest, and we appreciate your time and consideration this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Melikar. This time, I'll ask for identification of issues by staff.
Thank you, Chairman Pasquesi, members of the commission. You have a detailed staff report in front of you, but I wanted to spend a few minutes talking about the zoning patterns in the Central Business District. As Ms. Melikar described, there are 3 business districts that cover our Central Business District. The most dense is our B4 district, which really is focused on Market Square. Spreading out from that, you have the B3 district, where the uses become a little different. You have more office uses. The buildings tend to be a little larger, less ornate on the street. And then further, as you get down toward Fresh Market and Jewel, as you go south to CVS and Egg Harbor, you get into the B2 district. All of those districts allow for multifamily. Historically, we had about 100 units, 100 residential units along Western Avenue and in Market Square. Much of the second floor space was residential units. Over the past 20 years, there's been a lot of discussion about really needing to bring residential development back into or close to the Central Business District. We've seen some of that happen both on the east side of the railroad tracks and down at Kelmscott Park. Those units, although there was some concern that perhaps there were too many of the multifamily units, there's been a great demand for those units. So as we look at the limited opportunities for redevelopment in the Central Business District, this site, located on the southeast corner of Westminster and Oakwood Avenue, is one that, as you look at it, it looks different than other properties in the Central Business District. It's a small house, there's a fair amount of open land, there's a large tree in front that unfortunately isn't faring very well. But we knew at some point this property would be an opportunity for redevelopment. It was recently sold after several generations in the Marweedy family, and Jeff Lynch and his partner purchased the property and have partnered with Diana to really bring forward a development that is one that aligns very closely with the discussions in the comprehensive plan. This commission, over the last 18 months, approved an update to the chapter in the comprehensive plan on the Central Business District. And a key focus, again, was bringing residential development back into and near the Central Business District and providing different types of housing units. Again, there's a strong demand. In this case, this property, again, is Zone B3. It could be developed with office, with retail, with multifamily, perhaps with a restaurant. Restaurant would require some review, but those other developments could proceed without any review by the Plan Commission if they met the 0.75 floor area ratio. Floor area ratio is the ratio of building square footage to the land area. A 1.0 floor area ratio would be a square footage of the building that exactly matches the square footage of the lot. In this case, what's requested is a special use permit, not a variance, because the zoning code provides for what's referred to in the zoning code as an incentive. It provides an incentive in the form of an increase in the floor area ratio if certain criteria are met. Ms. Melikar reviewed the 5 criteria that are specific to the special use permit for an increase in floor area ratio. The staff report also provides findings related to the standard special use criteria, congestion, public safety, and those other details. So it is important to note that what is being requested is provided for in the code, is anticipated as a way to provide flexibility and encourage desired development in and near the Central Business District. If you choose to recommend approval, this would then move forward to the Building Review Board with knowledge that this commission is recommending approval. The development team would then really have a nod and a path to spend more time developing the architectural details, which would then, as Ms. Melikar said, go to the Building Review Board, tentatively planned for the first week in September. Recommendations of both this board and the Building Review Board would then go to the City Council. So I will end there. I won't go through everything that's in the staff report, but happy to answer any questions.
Very good. Thank you. This time I'll ask for questions or requests for clarification from commission to petitioner or staff. Yeah, go ahead.
I have 1 or 2 questions about height. I mean, really like the concept and what you're presenting. I appreciate your presentation. Thank you. Just a couple of questions about height of the building. It's 35 feet. Does it reach the limit? Is that right?
So the building walls are actually about 24 feet tall, and then the roof slopes back to the 35 feet. So it's a very residential type, typology.
How does that compare to the building just to the east on Westminster?
Just to the east.
Yeah.
So that, you mean the Lily Alexander one? Or you mean the one that's on
Just the building right next to it, whatever that is.
we measured that, and I can't remember the exact dimension. I want to say it's like 15 feet or something. It's just one story.
Yeah, so it's substantially smaller. What about the building
Right.
across Westminster, across the street?
Right, so we looked at those houses over there, and they're about 30 feet high. So, at the roof peak. So we actually went out and counted bricks, and we measured. So, so we're comparable sort of to the houses across the street.
So you
You mean,
I'm referring to the commercial building on the other side of Westminster, on the north.
you mean on the north side?
Yeah.
Gosh, I should have brought those. I was thinking that was Building Review Board territory. We did measure those too. It's somewhere in the same vicinity. The difference is that that building is much longer in the dimensions of the north-south, and I can't remember. It's much longer. And then in height, it's fairly comparable, as I recall, but I don't remember the exact dimensions. I apologize.
Okay, well, thank you. And one final question, Mr. Eck, for you. In the consideration of special use permit criterion number 2, which staff concluded that was met. Is height and massing a consideration as you go through that criteria?
Oh, that criterion.
Height and massing is a consideration focused on the Building Review Board review. They look at design, they look at building massing. The zoning code does set the maximum height at 35 feet. So this building does comply from a zoning perspective, which is under the purview of the Plan Commission.
Maybe just if we could specifically talk about criterion number 2 for one moment. The special use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purposes already permitted, et cetera, et cetera. I could make an argument that this will impair to some degree those properties surrounding it. If I owned one of the homes on Oakwood, my sight lines would change, the massing on that corner would change considerably. Are those, as I read criteria 2, that feels like the heart of the criteria there, or is that not, am I reading that wrong?
And keep in mind that what's being requested is an increase in floor area ratio. So this site could be developed with a building that did not exceed 0.75 floor area ratio, but could still rise to 35 feet. That's permitted outright by the zoning.
Okay,
Does that help to answer your question?
no. What does criteria number 2 go to? What are the issues you consider to conclude that criteria was met?
And you're looking at the special use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate area for the purposes already permitted and will not substantially diminish and impair property values within the neighborhood.
Right.
This building appears to be designed in a manner that represents a reasonable transition between the single-family and duplex dwellings, both on the west side of Oakwood and then west of Oakwood along Westminster. We know that this property is zoned commercial, so it can be a larger building, and to have this corner, to have that transition area be a residential condominium building of a design massing setback that meets the zoning, but it, again, creates a transition between the single-family homes and the taller, longer, wider, larger massed buildings that are to the north and to the east. It does not appear on its face that this building would be inconsistent with other development in the area, in the surrounding area.
Okay. All right, thank you. That's all my question.
Do you know the height, like I know you were talking about the 188, 196, the buildings across. Building 730, which was next to Lily Pulitzer, how high is that one? Because I was looking at that, and I was trying to get what the height was when I was out there today.
730.
It's the one right on the corner, so you've got like,
Oh, you mean
the one with the house, Lily Pulitzer, and
207?
it's this one. It's that one. It's the one on,
Is it
West
on
Minnesota,
Forest?
Forest Avenue.
Yeah, Forest, that's 207. Okay. So that one's also 35 feet. The difference is that it's almost all wall.
Okay,
So you're looking at, and that's what I was trying to explain, is that our wall is about 24 feet high, 24 feet 4 to be exact, and that's above grade. So, and then we're going back, sloping way back to the 35 feet, as opposed to, we could be putting a block that's sheared off at the top, right, a flat roof, that's 35 feet, that's 3 stories.
okay.
So we're just building a 2-story building that is in scale. So if you go across the street and you look at the houses across the street, they also have a wall that's tall, that's in the 20s, right? Because you got 2 stories there. Most of them, you're walking up several steps to get to the floor, which we're also doing. We could have had a choice to make it more flat, but then it looks more institutional. So we're, when you look at the, so when you look at this, I don't know, the pointer works, we have some steps going up to the first floor here because in an urban typology of residential, You'd be walking up steps to get to it, as opposed to something you're entering on grade. So we wanted that. That also helps us with the parking ramp not to be so steep. But this was really important to us. But the wall here is 24 feet. And then this slopes up, and this little ridge that's, 10 feet back is at 35, which, by the way, is very typical in the residential zones in general, is the height of residential in our zones are 35 feet so that's a residential scale.
Okay, and then this building, it's 5 feet from the property line. Is it also for like Lily Pulitzer, at 5 feet, so that way it's 10 feet between the building? Is that correct? I need-
So if you go, you mean, you're talking about this building here?
Yeah, like when,
This building's right on the sidewalk.
yeah, when you're
So
up,
this will be set back 5 feet from this building
Right.
base.
are you gonna be like right, you know what I mean? Is there gonna be actual, like they also have 5 feet, or that's what I'm trying to figure?
No, they're right on the property line.
They're right on the
So
property line?
I think it might show on the plat here. Let's,
I wasn't sure.
you can barely see it here, but
Okay.
Lily Pulitzer, Lily Alexander is what it's called now, is right there.
Oh, sorry.
And our building's further back.
Okay. Another question I had is the parking spaces that used to be at the end, is that, are you gonna use that part where, I know that's not part of this.
You mean this?
For the ramp, is that gonna,
We're gonna lose 1 to 2 parking spaces there. But the way we see it is that we're making up additional parking in the building itself.
okay,
So guest parking basically gets eliminated and gets put underground.
okay.
And then, of course, we're losing the, sorry, I'm trying to remember.
The one with the spot. The-
Hold on a second here.
There you go.
And then we've got these 10 parking spaces
That's what I'm talking about.
that access, this is the entry to the city's parking lot, which is sort of a right-of-way through here, but they're using those 10 spaces, they're accessing through the city's parking lot to get to it.
Okay,
So we're we're eliminating all those parking, all those cars that people are staring. They're all going away.
okay. All right, thank you.
Questions? Sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, and maybe this is a question for you, Kathy, and maybe will come up during building review board, but can you just comment on any requirements around trees on the properties and removal?
The large tree that is located on the Westminster Street side it is not faring well currently. So there will be a requirement for landscaping. Obviously, there will be street trees that, if those are impacted, those will need to be replaced. But there will be a requirement for landscaping. We don't want to have large trees planted if they can't thrive, so we will work closely with the team's landscape architect and the city forester to determine exactly what should be planted and where, and the Building Review Board will see a landscape plan as part of their review.
So the 2 large trees will likely be removed as a part of the plan.
I think both of them. Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
The one on the north side is practically dead, so that one's in bad shape. The other one will have to be removed. Yeah.
Well, was there, and again, this may be BRB's purview, but was there any consideration given to having the parking ramp accessed from the south rather than from the west on Oakwood Avenue? Is that a possibility to access that through the city parking lot?
I can respond to that. There is no access easement, and because there's a development opportunity at some time in the future, as we look at those properties, based on the advice we received from the city attorney, the access to this property, because it has 2 street frontages, should come from the street frontage, rather than encumber the city property when we don't know exactly what will happen on that property in the future, whether it's 10 years, 20 years, or more.
I might also say, David, that right across the street from there is another parking ramp that goes down to the house right across the street. So they're kind of, yeah. There's already one on the street like that.
Okay, and then my My only other question was, and again, this may be BRB's purview, but part of the code calls for 25% of the property to be open space, which you've met that criterion through the courtyard, but that courtyard is sort of blocked by the building. Was there any consideration, this may not be architecturally feasible, but was there any consideration to make that more viewable from the street?
The courtyard?
Yeah.
We are trying to make that, so just to be clear, this driveway does not count as open space.
Yep.
So what we're counting is all the green space that you see, okay? And the idea there was that for the residences, these folks have a private courtyard here. That's, the city's parking lot is right here. This rendering doesn't quite indicate, we were thinking that these would be tall arborvitae, but then you can't see the building. So, so in this rendering, we're showing some low plantings, but this would be screened off. And so that way, this unit here has private space. These people are looking out at a nice green landscape space, and these people obviously share this space and not be staring at a parking lot.
To clarify, that open space requirement does not say it must be public open space.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I missed that. Okay.
My thought was just to address having the intent of the open space more viewable from the street from a community perspective.
I see.
Which
I see.
may be in opposition to the best intent for whoever
Yeah.
living there, but
Well, we thought it was really important to maintain the streetscape here, along here and here, to hide and to give these people privacy, right?
yeah.
If you opened up this corner, then you have no light and air for, let's say we flip this unit so that instead of it being shaped this way, it was shaped the opposite direction, then you get no light and air into the units, so. We were looking at it in terms of streetscape and also quality of living inside the units.
Thank you. No other questions for me?
All right. Anyone else have any? Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not sure if this is our purview either, but if there's more than one unit, is there gonna be a homeowners association? Is there gonna be some type of thing to take care of the common area that you've just been talking about and all that stuff?
I'm sure there will be, that's what Mr. Lynch is saying, is that I'm just the architect, so I don't do the legal stuff. I just do the quality of
Okay, no, I just was
environment.
that. And then in your report, you had mentioned like at the end here, and you had 1,687 square feet that were requesting additional. I think it might have changed when you did the,
Yeah, it's actually, since then, it's gone down.
Okay.
It'll probably keep on going down a little bit as we continue to refine, but yeah, we're not asking, we're allowed to go up to 14,700, right?
Right.
We're probably gonna use about 10,500 of it.
right. I was just curious, I was trying to, thank you.
Very good.
Again, we're looking at quality of space and how to fit into the neighborhood and make it work well.
Got it.
All right. Any further questions? All right, then at this point, we'll open it up for public testimony on this topic, okay? Anyone who would like to speak, please rise. Since I botched the swearing in earlier, I'm going to do it again, so. You can come to the microphone, raise your right hand, and I'll swear you in. Do you solemnly declare and affirm the testimony you're about to give is true and correct to your best knowledge?
I do.
Very good. Please introduce yourself and proceed.
Well, I'd like to start by saying good evening, Chairman Pasquesi, members of the Lake Forest Planning Commission, and thank you for volunteering your time and service. My name's Michael Yakes, and my family and I live at 674 Oakwood Avenue. My family's lived on Oakwood Avenue for 5 generations. We deeply understand its character, its history, and its needs. I'm here tonight to formally request the Commission denies the special use permit at 181 East Westminster. Under the Lake Forest zoning code section 159045, applicants must bear strict burden proving projects are safe, compatible, and will cause no substantial detriment to the residents or historic trees. This plan simply fails to meet that burden. A special use permit should never be used to bypass existing codes, zoning codes, to maximize density at the expense of neighbors for a developer's profit. Approval of this permit fails Lake Forest in 3 ways. First, it disturbs the neighborhood's visual flow. The existing structure on the property acts as an essential buffer between Westminster's commercial spaces and Oakwood residential home. The special use permit would allow 1.5 bulk, creating a mass of out-of-scale structure pushed aggressively towards the side property line, violating the core intent of our zoning ordinances. 2, it promotes high-density zoning creep. This building's huge scale will block natural light, intrude on neighbors' privacy, and strengthen an unwelcome pattern. It opens the door for high-density creep to lead into other Lake Forest residential zones. 3, it creates a severe public safety hazard. This plan requires underground garage with entrance on Oakwood Avenue, eliminating already scarce street parking. More importantly, drivers ascending the steep garage ramp cannot see pedestrians on the sidewalk or the passing vehicles. A simple fix exists: relocate the garage to the rear alleyway. There is an easement there, and there is the other buildings on that area all use that as an easement, so it can be done. Planning Commission, please uphold the strict standards required for special use approval. Protect the integrity of our neighborhood and deny this request. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Yakes. Opportunity for cross-examination. Think any of that. Final questions from commission or requests for clarification? Hearing none, we can discuss. Anyone like to begin?
Well, I am concerned in terms of exactly what Commissioner Thomas had said in terms of the density. Like, yes, okay, the roof, it's angled and all this, but it's very, very large. It's taking up the whole green area except for the 5 feet. And it is concerning because it's right on the corner, and you've been so used to that little house for so long. It's gonna really be like, whoa, wait, what's going on? So I am concerned about that. I'm concerned about the bulk that, you know, how come they can make it so large? Yes, they can go 35 feet, but I wasn't sure. I was gonna ask Kathy Cerniak in terms of that, but I am concerned.
Thank you. I will say that when I was actually happy to see this item on our agenda because it's one of those properties in Lake Forest that every time I walk by, I'm like, what's going on with this property? It's no doubt doesn't fit with the beauty of Lake Forest, and I think this proposal is a much better option than what currently exists. I think it's compatible with the surrounding area. I think, Commissioner Nearing, what you mentioned, I think the drastic difference in the size based on what is currently there makes it seem larger than I think it is. But I feel like with the 1.25 floor area ratio and the fact that they're not even coming close to what they can build with that approval, the height, it's at the height limit. This would be, in my opinion, a significant improvement for that area and for Lake Forest. So I would be in favor of this petition. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could have a robust debate about what our zoning laws ought to be and how it would affect this property. And I'm sure there'd be a lot of different opinions on that. But they are what they are, right? And I'm having a hard time, even though I have the concerns I expressed, I'm having a hard time looking at the regulations for the code and the requirements to be met for the special use permit and ending up being negative. So at the end of the day, having concerns about it, I'm prepared to support the project because I think it meets the requirements that are in the code today, even though I'm not sure I like them.
Fair enough.
I'm going to concur and say that I think the criteria, the 5 criteria, the 4 criteria for us have been met. And I agree that it's a stark difference from what's there now. But I think the proposed design blends in well, and it's a good transition between the residential and the commercial area. And I think it'll be a good improvement for that corner. So I'm in favor.
Anyone else?
I'd just like to concur with what Commissioner Thomas said. It's not our role to create the laws or the rules. It's our role to interpret them, whether we, agree with exactly what the code states. And I've heard nothing to suggest that the 5 criteria aren't met.
I believe that the criteria have been met. Mr. Yates did express some concern about the positioning of the driveway from a safety standpoint. I think if Diana and the team look at the grade as it relates to slope into the garage, I think you're going to be able to meet the safety protocols of the sidewalk there along Oakwood. I would be inclined to move forward with approval of the special use permit.
Very good. Do I have a motion on the table? Anyone like to make a motion?
I motion to adopt the findings in the staff report in support of a recommendation to the City Council for approval of special use permit to authorize the floor area ratio incentive provided for in the zoning code for properties in the B3 traditional business district up to 1.25 for a condominium building on the southeast corner of Westminster and Oakwood Avenue, generally consistent with the plans presented to the Plan Commission on this date. Of course, condition approval on review of the building design, exterior materials, landscaping, and exterior lighting by the Building Review Board.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Congratulations.
Confirming, Commissioner Pickus, did you second that? Or,
Yeah.
Yes.
We had a second. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is a request for a recommendation in support of a zone change from R5 single-family residence to R4 single-family residence for the properties at 960 and 990 West Wesley Road. Properties owners Christopher Brigioni, 990 West Wesley Road, and Nancy Schultz, 960 Wesley Road, presented by Christopher Brigioni. I'd like to ask for a declaration of conflicts of interest or ex parte contacts. Hearing none, swearing in of the parties. If you wouldn't mind, Mr. Brigioni, stepping up and raising your right hand, and I'll swear you in. Do you solemnly declare and affirm that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct to your best knowledge?
I do.
Thank you. Please introduce yourself and proceed.
My name is Zach Brigioni. I'm here with my wife Jordan and my neighbor Bob and Nancy Schultz. We are requesting a zoning change from R5 to R4 at our properties on Wesley Road. Let me pull up my notes here. We're currently zoned R5 at our properties at 960 and 990 West Wesley. The neighborhood to the south and the north of us are both R4. Both of the properties are under 2 acres and conform better with R4 zoning than R5. And both of the homes right now are not conforming to R5, but it is zoned R5. The reasoning for wanting to change this is to get setbacks compliant with R4 to be able to add bedrooms to our house at 990 West Wesley, and just conform with what we already have in place right now. Since we're not at our 50-foot setbacks, we're already over it. So when I was made aware of that by the city, I wanted to see if this was an option to get it rezoned instead of asking for variances. Good? Okay.
Thank you, Chairman Pasquesi, members of the commission. I don't have much to add to that. When Mr. Bordoni first came to the counter and we talked about what he would need to do some improvements to his house, it just dawned on us that instead of looking at this property as non-conforming to the R5 zoning and going through variance processes, it really made sense to align the zoning with the properties. How do the properties come to be R5? For any property that's annexed to the city without any proposed changes, the zoning code requires by default that the R5 zoning district be applied. So that zoning district was applied decades ago. The homes were there. The homes are non-conforming. The lots are non-conforming. We advised Mr. Bruzzoni and then to talk to his neighbors, the Schultzes, and that's why they're before you tonight. It just makes sense to rezone this to give them flexibility to make some improvements to their homes.
All right. Very good. This might be the easiest we'll have. So, anybody have any questions? Request for oh yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Erniak, it says this plainly in here, but it's important enough to me that I want to confirm
Sure.
that it's right. There's nothing that we would be doing, there's no implication of making this change that would allow another lot to be created, home to be built.
There isn't. Both of the lots are under 2 acres. The R3 zoning district has a 3-acre minimum lot size. So the lots are non-conforming because they're not 3 acres, they're under 2 acres. And R4 requires a minimum lot size of 60,000 square feet or about 1.5 acres. Okay. So neither of the lots have that 1.5 acres. In addition, these lots are further encumbered by floodplain because of the ditch that runs along to the north and to the east. It kind of borders. So no, I don't believe there's any opportunity, and the city owns the property to the north and to the west. The city's underground, our booster station with the underground water tanks are to the west, and then wetlands and floodplain are to the north with the drainage ditch. So I feel confident in saying these lots could not be redeveloped. You know, could someone in the future rezone this to some zoning that allowed 9,000 square foot lots? Possibly, but I don't think any of us are going to be around to see that.
Yeah, good. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Discussion?
I think it should change,
All
yeah,
right, agree.
definitely.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Yeah.
A motion?
Move to approve to change the zoning from R5 to R4 as stipulated in the staff report.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Motion passes. Congratulations.
I haven't done that since
You did good. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. We'll be in touch.
All right. Opportunity for the public to address the Plan Commission on matters not on the agenda. Yeah? Here. Thank you. Congratulations. Additional items from staff.
As we sit here today, I do not have anything for your August meeting, but we will that and let you know.
Very good. And I would just like to close by saying congratulations to City of Lake Forest for running a great event on Thursday, July 2nd, Bites on Bank Lane. Well done. Whoever was responsible for that, it was a great event, and I hope we continue to do that for years to come.
Well, and I think it's important, this Plan Commission played a role in making all that happen, because this Plan Commission was involved in the comprehensive plan discussions. Some of you might have been involved in the advisory group. The whole vision for Bank Lane, and it predates all of you in the current city council, but for the past 20 years, there have been different groups, and as we looked at Bank Lane from Vine all the way to Wisconsin, we've seen that as an opportunity. That has been identified through the years as a real opportunity, just kind of a unique hidden street. So hopefully, the one criticism we've heard is that it was too congested, which leads us right to where we want to be, because we do have money in the budget coming up that will allow us to proceed with design work for the second phase of what we hope is a 5-phase project, but for improvements to Bank Lane, north of Market Square to Westminster, and then we could spread that out a little bit. So the vision and energy that so many volunteers really made that happen through the years. So many people going back a long way deserve credit for that. So thank you.
Yeah, very good. All right, unless anyone has anything, I'd love a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, meeting adjourned.